In today's video, we'll be checking out this highly customized 2023 transition repeater. Welcome to Send Frankie's eMTB channel. I am super excited for today's interview with Nathan and his transition repeater. For those of you that are thinking about purchasing this repeater, you'll want to stay through the interview. The goal of this series is to give you potential owners some insight to the ownership of these e-bikes, as well as a few ideas on how you can customize your own eMTB rig. But before we check out this customized repeater, let's quickly glance over the 2023 specs of the transition repeater GX build. The repeater has 160 millimeters of travel for the front and rear. It's a full 29er with the Shimano EPA at 85 newton meters of torque and 630 watt hours of battery. The rear shocks on the GX build is a Foust Floatex Performance Elite, a Foust 38 Performance Elite for the fork, SRAM GX Access Drivetrain, TRP DHR Evos for the brakes, race face effect for the wheels, and coming in at $8,999 USD. In SoCal riders, I know we put a lot of miles every time we go out and ride our e-bikes, so if you're looking for a personal bike mechanic that can tune and fix your rig, I highly recommend my boy CJ Foust over at Foust Tuning Works. He's been race prepping and wrenching for over 10 years. This is your chance to have a race mechanic as your personal bike mechanic. So give him a message on Instagram and set up an appointment at _InsideFTW. Info is also in this video's description. Now with that said, let's head over to the interview with Nathan. All right, we are here with Nathan's transition repeater. All right, let's just get into Nathan as a rider. How many years have you been riding mountain bikes?
7 to 8.
7 to 8 years. Yeah. And did you start off with riding e-bikes, or did you start off riding analog bikes?
Definitely had an analog.
Nice.
My first low was a giant Talon.
Awesome.
Hardtail.
Hardtail. Have you done any racing at all?
I have. I just your local races out here, like Fontana and Vail Lake. And
how many e-bikes have you owned since you started riding e-bikes?
About 6.
6. And let's name the e-bikes that you've gotten.
I had 2 YTs, Canyon, Transition.
And you had a Cube too. You had a Cube stereo.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Stereo,
man, my wife's gonna be watching this, bro.
They gave it to you.
Hey, good. It was free.
That's a lot of bikes. That's why it's one of the reasons why I asked Nathan to come on this channel, because he's got a whole bunch of experience with e-bikes, and I think the amount of time he's spent on the e-bike and the amount of e-bikes that he's gotten can really give you guys a little bit more insight on what it is to own an e-bike and what it is to own the transition repeater. Let's just dive right into the bike modifications. The transition stock build is a 160 front, 160 rear. Tell us what you did to the fork.
So I switched out the fork from stock, which was a Zeb Ultimate. Now it's still a Zeb, but this is the Ultimate with Buttercup, and it's at a 170.
It's at a 170 millimeter. Did you get a brand new fork at 170, or did you rebuild it to a 170?
I bought a brand new fork.
Okay. You have the Super Deluxe RockShox Ultimate coil, and it's still at 160.
Correct.
What is the difference between the air shock and the coil shock with this bike?
I have also the RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Air shock as well. Huge difference from the Fox to all the way to this.
Okay.
The adjustability of the RockShox Ultimate coil and the Air that I have are almost similar, but man, the coil is like super plush.
Yeah.
Like it makes the trails just
eats up everything. Right? It eats up everything that comes at you. It feels like a tank. You're just plowing right through.
Yes.
With the Buttercups, with the Zeb 38 millimeter and that coil shock, pretty much makes this thing into a tank. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
6 foot. And what size
This size large.
This is a size large. What is the spring rate that you have for the coil?
So Transition is a very progressive bike. So it's pretty firm. They actually helped me out on finding the right coil. So I'm at 450 right now at 25% sag.
Wow, 450 is not that.
No.
That's not that high. My old bike was at 425. You're taller, heavier than me, but that's 450 is a lot of like stock or a lot of other companies like 500.
I have the 500 at home too, and I tried it out and it was way too firm.
Moving on to the drivetrain, you have the SRAM, the newest SRAM
XLT type.
How do you like the T-type?
I had the GX cable and I had the GX access with the UDH derailleur hanger still in the rear. Between the two, this one has slower shifting, but I feel like they put it as slower because they want you to be able to shift under load.
Yeah.
But I never shift under load. I mean, I rarely shift under load. I kind of know what gear I want to be in by the time I get to the climb. But I guess if you have your oh shit moments, you know, and you just gotta, they both make a crazy cracking noise.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna break something, you know? But I prefer the
the regular GX?
The GX axis.
Okay,
correct.
Cool. This does cost a lot more.
Way more. And I know the consumer's like, well, then why did you buy it? Well, you kind of want to try the new.
Yeah. Brakes, you have the TRP DH Evos, right?
Correct.
I've ridden these. I can see why you went from Magura's.
So you have your, what is it, the SRAM codes?
Yeah.
So they're squishy.
Yeah.
Then you have your Shimano XTs, XTRs.
Yeah.
Very bitey.
Yeah.
Then you have these, it's like right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Tell me about the wheels.
I got the E13 E-Spec carbon wheels, 29 front rear.
Do you like the carbon better than the aluminum?
So the major flaw with carbon is obviously if it breaks, it breaks, you know, but with aluminum, you ding it on something, you could still get down the hill.
Right.
The major pro on carbon though is the truing part.
Yeah.
So your wheels are always straight and you get major feedback with carbon, so you could definitely feel the trails a lot better. I've broken both, so aluminum and carbon. So
they both break.
Do they break? Yes.
Yeah, they both break.
But less maintenance, carbon's probably the best. I also
And-
protect my rear with rim packed.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's right. That's right. You have rim packed on, and only the rear.
only the rear.
Only the rear.
I've ridden.
Use cush cores and all
I've
that
ridden
stuff.
all inserts.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done the Cush Core, rim packed. What's that? The Victoria, like that noodle. They had like a noodle. Like a green noodle.
Yeah.
I tried that out. I tried Huck Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can name a lot of brands, and I've came right back to rim pack.
Yeah. Next question. So we're moving on quick.
Yeah.
We're moving
No,
on
no,
quick.
no, you're good.
Tires, and you have the grappler tires on these, and from previous rides with you, I've seen you with tons of different tires. How do the grapplers compare to like Maxis? Probably the most widely used tire now is the Acid Guys, the Maxis Acid Guys. Let's compare the Acid Guys to the grapplers or the all-terrains in the back.
So for the all-terrains, let's go with all-terrain is almost equivalent to your DHR2s. Fast rolling, very good braking, corning is good. But E13's compound, they have like a Mopo DH compound. These last longer than the Maxis.
Yes.
So I feel like as a consumer, you like to ride and you want things to last a little bit longer instead of just keep spending $90 to $100 per tire.
Right.
You know, so these been really good. So like I said, the all-terrains are kind of like the DHR2s, very good. And then you got the grappler in the front. I don't think it's equivalent to the Acid Guys. I've ridden the Acid Guys. The Acid Guys are more slower rolling to me.
Right.
They're grippy, but they're slower rolling. These are faster rolling and grippy. So
That's a good combo.
Yes. Yeah. So I got DH casing in the rear, Enduro casing in the front.
In the front. How much have you spent on this bike so far?
So
ballpark it.
You know my wife's gonna be watching this, right?
That's fine. We'll beep out the cost, and we'll say they gave it to me.
They gave it to me. They gave it to me. What do you mean they gave it to you? No. So ballpark range, the bike is worth like in the 12s.
Okay. Okay. With all the, I mean,
with everything.
You've done a lot of work because
Yes.
even the bolts are, you know, titanium.
Yeah, that's all from the company Better Bolts.
Yeah, Better Bolts.
Yeah, so I got all the titanium. And
the oil slick
Yep.
titanium.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. What made you choose the transition repeater out of all the bikes that's out in the market today? Because there's a lot.
What made me choose the repeater, and I'm going off of my consumer part,
Right.
is their videos, man.
Okay.
Their videos. You see, if you go on Transition's website right now and you look up, they have their rider just shredding the shit out of this bike. It's crazy.
They're up in.
We're talking about it's like 3 stories high. They're just jumping off of stuff, and I'm nowhere close to that. But when you have a bike and everyone's like, "Oh man, you know."
My bike can do
got
that.
me. Yeah, my bike can do that. I can't do it, but my bike can. You know, so I like that, and that's what got me as a consumer.
Out of all the motors that you've ridden Shimano EP8, Bosch, the CX Performance.
Yes.
And you've ridden the Yamaha. And then you've ridden the Brose just around the parking lot. So out of all the motors you've ridden, how do you like the EP8? Because there's a lot of like talk about EP8. It's like how it's not the best. It's, you know, I'd rather pick this and that. How do you like the EP8?
So the EP8 or Shimano motors, or this version, because I don't remember it on the E8000, but on this one, there is definitely a knock. That knock kind of goes away when you're attacking the trails, going down your rock gardens or anything like that. How does it compare to everything else? Like I said, I only rode the Brose up and down the fire road. The power output that one came out is really smooth, and it's very quiet. The eMTB mode on the Bosch system, it's a really good mode.
They're all very close.
They're all very close. But what makes the Shimano better? I'm a JDM guy, man. So I like
the Japanese.
I like the Japanese stuff.
Okay, I've had my E8000 for I've ridden that for 3 years straight.
Okay.
And I have over 3,000 miles on that E8000, and it's still performing. Still does great.
But you know what? It all matters on the rider.
Right.
So I could ride the crap out of my bike, and this Shimano could break.
Yeah.
But I could ride the crap out of let's say a Commensal with the Bosch motor as well, or the Crest line.
Right.
I could ride the crap out of that, and that could break.
Yeah.
But if you
Definitely.
get your average rider, you know, that just goes on trail riding, not as much chatter, I feel like all these motors should last a pretty long time.
Yeah. So how long have you owned the transition repeater?
Going on 4.5 months.
5 months. And have you had any motor or warranty issues with the frame?
No
issues with the frame.
Yeah, it's been
solid bike.
It's been solid, and it's been definitely solid.
And Nathan is not one of those guys that just rides fire roads. He sends it. I mean, he does a lot.
I try to.
He does a lot of crazy stuff. So he's definitely not taking it easy on these bikes. What is the one thing you absolutely love about this bike?
So for me, what I absolutely like about this bike is the lines.
Okay.
If you follow the top tube all the way down to the seat stay, all the way down to the rear axle, that is one straight line. To me, it looks like a samurai sword just slicing through something.
Sharp.
Yes, very sharp. I like just the definition of everything. It just looks.
The green looks really nice.
Yes,
too.
it does.
The moss green,
yes,
that matte finish.
Yes.
What is the one thing that you absolutely do not like about this bike?
Damn headset, bro.
Okay.
I love it and I hate it.
Okay.
I love it because of the clean look. Okay, man. If I ever have to get a new headset, or I have to re-bleed my brakes, I have to redo everything, because all of that has to come out.
Right.
And all the cables are going inside that bearing.
That is a lot of work.
And that's a lot of work. So when I dropped my fork and I put the new fork in there, I did not know that little headset right there had 5 pieces. And I'm like, what is this? So
that should be all the questions that I have for Nathan. If you have any more questions that you would want to hear for our next bike, please leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from everybody. Thank you, Nathan, for coming out.
Hey, man. It's always a pleasure.
Our second take, because I screwed up our first take. Everything was in slow motion trying to capture this beast of a bike. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll see you guys back in the studio. All right, it was great and fun catching up with Nathan, even though we recorded twice. The first one was on slow-mo. But he's a great person to talk bikes with and even more fun riding with. Unfortunately, he had a pretty rough crash just the day before we started our interview, but I'm sure we will be doing another video very soon as he may be picking up the brand new Transition Relay. Very, very exciting bike. Hopefully, I can get on that bike and see what it's all about. Hope this interview has helped you with your decision on the Transition repeater. At the same time, give you some ideas on what to customize when you get this bike. So with that, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Use my affiliate links to purchase any of the components discussed in this video, as it will help this channel grow and prosper. And with that, we'll see you all on the next one. And as always, stay electric.